Hello everyone! Thank you for choosing to watch this week's news capsule. Every problem has a solution. You just have to be creative enough to find it. And you can't solve a problem until you are asking the right question.
Dear Igraspers, it's now time to answer your questions as we move along with our news capsule.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the G7 summit earlier this week, following an invitation by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. The G7 is a grouping of the world's 7 richest nations, and the summit is being hosted by Germany in its capacity as the chair of this group. In addition to India, Germany also invited Argentina, Indonesia, Senegal, and South Africa as guests for the summit to recognize the democracies of the Global South as its partners. The G7 leaders discussed potential solutions for the Ukraine crisis that has triggered geopolitical turmoil and a looming global food and energy crisis. We certainly hope that the talks were constructive and look forward to seeing fruits of this discussion.
As the heatwave continues to worsen, millions of residents of the Tokyo region have been told to save energy or face power cuts by the Japanese government. The capital of Japan has witnessed record temperatures in June since the monsoons ended prematurely in the region. The government has requested the public to reduce energy consumption during the early evening hours by turning off the lights which are not in use and limit the use of air conditioners. They have also shared guidelines on how to protect oneself against heat strokes. We hope the climate crisis in Japan resolves itself and wish the government and their citizens all the best.
Taking another big step toward green energy, Delhi's Indira Gandhi International IGI Airport has become the nation's first airport to run entirely on the combination of hydro and solar power. Did you know that this will help in reducing the emissions of nearly 2 lakh tons of carbon dioxide every year? Delhi has also secured the first position in the Level 4 Plus under the Airports Council International's ACI Airport Carbon Accreditation Program. And the airport aims to be a net zero carbon emission airport by 2030. We certainly hope other airports around the world take a page out of Delhi's book.
Netherlands-based solar electric vehicle startup Lightyear has launched the world's first production-ready solar car called Lightyear Zero. The solar car was unveiled on the global stage after 6 years of innovation and R&D. The company claims that the car will enable drivers to freely travel up to 11,000 kilometers for months without plugging into a household outlet or charging station. This is made possible thanks to a 60 kilowatt per hour battery pack and an electric motor that produces a combined 174 PS of power. The car also features double curved solar arrays that can take energy from the sun at any time. We congratulate the time for this brilliant and eco-friendly innovation.
A very rare carnivorous plant species called Utricularia fusilata has been recently found in the western Himalayan region for the first time. The detection of this rare species was made by a research team of the Uttarakhand Forest Department in the Mandal Valley. And this was the first sighting of this species in India after 1986. Did you know that this discovery was published in the prestigious Journal of Japanese Botany, which is a 106-year-old iconic journal on plant taxonomy and botany? We congratulate the entire department for this amazing discovery.
Have you heard about NASA's latest Capstone project? Capstone, which stands for Cislunar Autonomous Positioning System, Technology, Operations, and Navigation Experiment, will be the first ever spacecraft to fly a specific unique lunar orbit ahead of future missions with crew. This launch is a part of NASA's Artemis mission to collect scientific data on the moon and its ice water in its polar regions. The data accumulated by this CubeSat will help the crew to reduce the risk for future spacecrafts by testing the route, and will also demonstrate innovative navigation technology that could help future spacecrafts fly near the moon with a reduced need for communication with Earth. We wish the entire team all the best for this mission.
Did you know that Polo Ralph Lauren has been dressing Wimbledon's on-court officials, including chair umpires, line umpires, ball boys and girls, for the past 17 years? Well, get ready for some visual changes on the court, as they just unveiled the new 2022 uniforms. This year's uniforms have been designed to showcase the brand's signature craftsmanship, as well as embrace a more sustainable and eco-friendly ethic. This is the 135th edition of the competition, and the first game was played this week on the 27th of June. Don't forget to catch the exciting matches and see the new uniforms in action.
It is time to celebrate another sports victory for India, as the Indian women's archery team settled for silver on the final day of the Archery World Cup Stage 3 in Paris. This tournament started in 2006, and archers compete in 4 stages in 4 countries before proceeding to the final stage. The trio of Deepika Kumari, Simranjeet Kaur, and Ankita Bhakat lost to Chinese Taipei 1-5 in the gold medal match last week. This was India's 3rd medal in the space of 24 hours, as earlier compound archers claimed gold and silver medals in mixed team and women's individual final respectively. The 4th stage of the World Cup is scheduled in Colombia next month, followed by the World Cup final in Mexico this October. And we look forward to seeing India do even better.
Igraasp, you must be familiar with the world-famous Toblerone chocolate and its iconic triangular shape. But did you know that it is shaped like that to mimic the peaks of the Swiss Alps, since it was exclusively and historically made in that country? Well, not anymore. The owner of the chocolate company recently announced that they intend to open a production line in Slovakia at the end of 2023 to meet their growing demand. This will essentially force them to remove the word Switzerland from its packaging. It is certainly the end of an era, but perhaps the start of an even better one.
It's time for some bizarre news. Did you know that there's a hotel in Switzerland with no walls and sleepless nights? The Swiss concept of an artist's hotel room is essentially a double bed on a platform with no ceilings, doors, or walls to provide any sort of privacy or shelter. It sits on a roadside next to a petrol station in the village of Seyon and is intended to make guests reflect about problems in the real world, as well as inspire them to act differently. Isn't that fascinating, Igraspers? Do check out some photos of this hotel online.
A mother of 2 children, Preeti Muskie from Pune, created an ultra cycling world record by becoming the first woman to cycle solo from Leh to Manali in 55 hours and 13 minutes. She also holds a record for the fastest woman cyclist on the Golden Quadrilateral. Preeti started this journey on the 22nd of June and made her way through the challenging 8,000 meter elevation gain thanks to support from the Border Roads Organization. This is not her first record, but certainly one of her most amazing ones. We congratulate her for this fantastic feat.
The word of the week is forlorn, which means sad and lonely. Help your classmates who look forlorn. They must not be left alone anymore. The riddle of the week is: why is the letter A the most like a flower? Because a bee is after it.
Can you guess who? This Mexican painter is known for her surreal and personal works influenced by native Mexican culture. Her paintings caught the eye of one of the greatest muralists of that time in Mexico, Diego Rivera, whom she later on married. Her attention to female themes in her paintings made her a female cult figure in the last decades, and there was even a movie based on her life featuring Salma Hayek that was released in 2002. Yes, indeed, it is none other than Frida Kahlo. Did you know that after being diagnosed with polio at age 6, she studied to become a doctor before taking up painting at age 18? Isn't that inspiring?
Did you know that the Aboriginal communities in Australia believe in passing on their culture through the Dreamtime stories? Dreamtime is related to an Australian Aboriginal belief dealing with the creation of world by ancient spirits. They believe that the power of the ancient holy spirits caused changes to the social and geographical environment. The knowledge acquired during this period of Dreamtime is passed on through customs like storytelling, body painting, singing, and dancing.
Quiz time! Name the festival in which Indigenous art related to the Dreamtime stories is celebrated in Queensland, Australia. Send your answers to contact us at igraasp.com along with your full name, school name, and a photograph. Answer to the last week's quiz. The Voynich manuscript is kept at the Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library at Yale University. This certificate of appreciation is presented to Yashasvi Rajput of Wisdom World School, Kurukshetra, for successfully participating in the weekly quiz on India's leading news capsule for tweens, Igraasp.
Dear Igraspers, this is not a set of stories for the faint-hearted. This week, we follow the tumultuous world of the Baudelaire children, created by author Daniel Handler, better known to us as Lemony Snicket. This book contains the misadventures and happenings in the lives of the Baudelaire siblings, who have been placed in the custody of their abusive relative Count Olaf after they tragically lose their parents. Will the children be able to save themselves from his murderous grasp? There's only one way to find out. Read the books and share your feedback at igraasp.com/iClub.
We hope you enjoyed this week's news capsule. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So think out of the box and face your problems head on. That's all for this week. Thank you for watching.